Throughout the last couple of decades, Mattel's Barbie brand has become subject to an acute sales problem resulting from the depiction of an unrealistic body image. The clip we decided to use for our presentation was the new Imagine the Possibilities Barbie ad. This clip is central to the main theme of our presentation, which will seek to determine that the role of feminism within the workplace is becoming more prominent, further comparing to the current state of Western feminism to the Third World. Yet, has the true nature of women in the workplace been changed? The first concept that's introduced by Zalewski is of a woman named Esmeralda who was taken out her IUD after the war ended. This centered around the concept that during a time of war, it would have been irresponsible to conceive a child, yet after the war, she once more regained the overwhelming pressure to become a good mother. The concept of the morning after encourages us to conceive of how the role of women in society is constantly changing after each social and political change. What happened the morning after feminism? Did something new begin, or just the continuation of the same old regime? The case of Esmeralda perfectly emulates the struggles that women are subject to on an everyday basis, as there is always a change in a woman's personal and professional expectations. Throughout time, there has constantly been a push for women to adopt a domesticated persona, even if it means abandoning their professional life. An example of a Western outlook on this feminist trend can be linked to the current expectation that during a young woman's youth she will prioritize her education, often shaming women who are dubbed teen moms. Yet, after obtaining education and reaching an appropriate childbearing age, women once more are subject to the same struggle that Esmeralda was. As women reach childbearing age, they become discriminated against, as employers assume women will soon become pregnant, requiring maternity leave. 1/3 of managers would rather employ a man in his 20s or 30s over a woman of the same age for fear of maternity leave, according to a new study. And additionally, a survey of 500 managers by law firm Slater and Gordon showed that more than 40% admitted they are generally wary of hiring a woman of childbearing age, while a similar number would be wary of hiring a woman who had already had a child or hiring a mother for a senior role. The second concept introduced by Zalewski is that of lenses. Zalewski provides us with a useful metaphor to examine feminism within IR, and it is directly related to Pearson and Simpson's Runyon's lens metaphor. Seeing the world of international politics through an alternative gendered focus facilitates seeing of depictions of international politics, alternative to those conventionally offered. Her metaphor of a lens is useful in analyzing how feminism is depicted in international relations, but also whether it's successful in its various plights. The new Barbie advertisement is an excellent example of how a historically distorted lens has taken on a new dimension while attempting to tackle the difficulties of making changes to otherwise conventional wisdom. Zalewski states that these lenses are graphic depictions of how lenses affect fields of vision on how women at the bottom of world politics hierarchy are struggling to make elite men see them more clearly. This is exemplified in the Imagine the Possibilities ad, in which Mattel rebranded the previous image of what girls should aspire to be in order to empower young girls, therefore changing the previous lens. Another excellent example of the use in lenses and its method of disempowering women historically has been in how the media portrays news stories and what specifically they choose to report on. Cynthia Enlow states that feminists routinely count on how many men and how many women are interviewed in any political news story. A ratio of 6-1 or 7-0 is common. But since 2000, women have broken this wall of limitations and have taken to social media in order to express their concerns and demand their equality. Enlow states that women have become skilled bloggers, users of Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube, and Facebook. These innovations are not dissimilar to suffragists in the early 1900s, who set up their own printing presses in order to forward their plight for equality among the genders. An article by Time magazine states that in today's technological age, the hashtag has become exponentially powerful among feminist organizations in the Western world, employing strategies and campaigns such as the Why I Stayed campaign shortly after the Ray Rice domestic violence case, and Yes All Women, which promotes women to share cases of misogyny and violence against women.
Gendered lenses are still important, however, there is considerable room for improvement. A recent study demonstrates that Americans still prefer a male to a female boss. By 2013, 41% of Americans preferred a male boss to 23% preferring a female boss. The article also suggests that the explanation may in fact be psychological. Both men and women unconsciously view men as leaders and women as followers, so that when a woman is promoted to a senior leadership position, she disrupts unconscious collective norms. Where is feminism going from here? In order to introduce this topic, Zalewski uses the analogy of Alice in Wonderland. Would you tell me, please, which way I ought to go from here? Alice uttered, to which the Cheshire Cat replied, that depends a good deal on where you want to get to. Feminism has made great strides towards promoting equality between the genders, and as Zalewski notes, housewives, fishwives, film stars, mothers, and sex workers all began to make an explicit appearance on the IR scene. Examples of these great strides have been the women which have risen to power in the world of politics, such as American presidential candidate Hillary Clinton and Brazilian President Dilma Rousseff. Additionally, women in pop culture have marked their presence in a way that has been unprecedented in the world, with figures such as Oprah Winfrey, Beyoncé Knowles, and Ellen DeGeneres making their way to the Forbes Top 100 of the World's Most Powerful Women article. But is this where feminism is truly headed? Or is this only the image that is given to us by mass media? Is the truth that women in the most powerful political and social positions in the world are indicators of the direction of feminism in the global political system? Post-colonial feminism doesn't seem to think so. Post-colonial feminism is a form of feminism that arose in response to the Western conceptualization of feminism, which holds that the focus, whether advertent or inadvertent, is solely on the experiences of women in the Western culture, and post-colonial feminism seeks to critique this view. Throughout the world, there have evolved a number of transnational feminist organizations which seek to promote equality throughout all walks of life, such as Women Living Under Muslim Law, International Network of Women in Black, Our Bodies Ourselves Global Network, and Women's Initiative for Gender Justice, to name a few. But we never hear about these organizations, and Cynthia Enlow seems to think there are a few reasons why this may be the case. Enlow responds by stating that editors, mainstream experts, and academics employ several strategies to dismiss the value of these groups' impacts. One way they do this is by dismissing them as representing only special interests, and by contrast, international experts are only interested in the big picture. Another reason given is that the arena of politics that these groups seek to espouse are local in nature as opposed to the significant global causes that the media is interested in. Ultimately, this narrow understanding of security leads to the lack of representation that these groups experience within the media. The fact that many of the world's most progressive and forward-thinking organizations seeking to empower women are the most underreported organizations in mass media may be an indication that the way feminism is headed may not be the direction that it should be headed. Furthermore, the new Barbie advertisement demonstrates that the empowerment of women through the Western conceptualization of feminism is pervasive throughout the Western world, but, from a global perspective, can women truly be what they want to be? Or is this a limited notion restricted to the West and made consumable by the masses? So, I guess the question shouldn't be, is this what feminism looks like in IR? But rather, it should be, is this what feminism should look like?
Created using Powtoon.